The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. You're giving veterans a voice today. Powered by WorkSimple, where we simplify your mission.
Find us on the web at mbradio.com.
We begin on the tracks, rails stretching beyond the horizon. Each tie a memory, each rail a promise of where we might go. In the early years, our first logo appeared, a pioneer stepping onto the platform of possibility. Through seasons of growth, change, and challenge, we moved forward. The whistle of opportunity sounded, and we boarded the train of time. The view changed with every mile, some stations brief, others lasting. Our logos changed too, not just emblems, but mile markers of evolution. Along the way, seats filled with teammates, mentors, veterans, and friends. Some stayed for the ride, others stepped off, leaving their legacy on the rails behind us. And still, the journey continues. The tracks ahead stretch into the unknown, familiar yet full of new promise. What matters most is how we travel, with purpose, with grit, with heart. Because the journey matters, the movement matters, and the legacy of those logos, every year, every show, lives on in the rhythm of these rails. So here we are once again, all aboard. The whistle blows. The tracks call. Together, we ride. We are the H-Train Show, showing veterans programs beyond the VA since 2015. H is in the building now.
Let's go! Are you ready for the H-Train Show?
It's coming live.
I took the oath. 20 years I gave my soul. Sandstorms, fire, a roadside blast. Everything I knew shattered fast.
You haven't seen nothing yet! Woo! Woo!
Drowning in turmoil, 15 meds, mine in a haze. Living felt like a permanent death. Still standing, scarred and proud. Crushed by war, but I won't stay down. Voice of the broken, thunder in my chest with a freedom fighters rising from the wreck. Parents pulled me from the edge of night, pushed me forward back into the light. Ski boots on, carving through pain. Found my fire on that frozen terrain. Said I was too old to beat the race, so I trained like hell, put them in their place. From slurred words to a podium stand. Yeah, I'm racing with lightning in my hands. Still standing, scarred and proud. Crushed by war, but I won't stay down. From Kokomo to Olympic slopes, we're the freedom fighters born to cope. Now I take the mic, not a rifle. Broadcast truth, yeah, that's survival. Paralyzed, but still I lead. With every word we plant a seed. Still standing, warriors loud. Can't break us, we scream it proud. Not wounded, we're on the attack. Freedom fighters, and we're taking it back. Freedom fighters, yeah, yeah. Keep rising.
Welcome, everybody. It is Red Friday, June 12th, 2026. And boy, do we have a great show planned for you today. We even have Charles making an appearance today. And, I don't understand why, but, we just started the StreamYard going live. And, everything Facebook is down. Everything that is Facebook is down. Did you see that?
Oh, I did not notice.
I don't get that whatsoever at all. But okay, So if you're listening to us or watching us, it's either on YouTube, X, or Roku. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But Charles, how are you, man? I haven't talked to you in a while.
I'm doing pretty good, actually. How about yourself?
Oh, I can't complain. Living the American dream. I got the CPAP machine. And I'm not gonna say the word, but so I was telling my wife I received Monday, and I mispronounced it, and I made her cry laughing so bad. Because I when I had trouble with my Uvalde, I would say I had trouble with the with
The dangly thing.
Ukulele. I didn't say Uvalde, So I'm not very good with medical terms. Let's just put it that way. So I kind of messed up when I told my wife, "Hey, I got this machine today." Called it something else. She laughed hysterically. Yeah. So other than that, pretty good. A decent night's sleep. It's continuous. So. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now you had brain surgery not too long ago. How's that working for you?
Well, I can talk.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you
No,
can.
it's going fine. The incision got infected again 2 different times, so they're gonna have to go in and open it up and reoperate. But other than that, it's all good.
Okay, all right. And health good, everything good.
Health's not good, but I tell you what, that intro was awesome. Like,
hey, do you like that? I tell you,
it was. Yeah, it's totally different than the last time that I came on here. Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah, so we got some changes. The mail call that I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find it. Maybe I don't have it today. Maybe that's one of those things that I forgot to do. Okay, so anyways, I'm not going to worry about it. Mail call, just so everybody knows, one of the reasons why we're doing the mail call is Mr. Murphy. He is on every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on MBR. It's not really a veteran resource show, but what it is it's a great resource for college students, prep tech, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The process of AI, how it's changing like the colleges today and stuff. So it's good information. The reason why I'm spotlighting him today is because everybody knows that June 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the new cartoon that we just created, it will debut at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna have several hosts. We're gonna play it exactly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then once we get done playing that, then JJ and some other veterans are gonna break down the film. It's always cool to watch a film or to watch cartoon, but to have analysis or people break down their opinion, their projected views, I think that's pretty important. So we're going to go ahead and do that.
I tell you what, that is some really sharp artwork you got there, Joel. I'm impressed.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Murph has helped me quite a bit with this project, and we're going to be making more cartoons We have actually a series that we're actually going to do, and let's see here. If yeah, see, it didn't even have the mail call thing loaded, so that's the reason why that didn't happen. But hey, before I forget, before it's the end of the show, I want to welcome everybody to another edition of the Ace Train Show. We're here. We simply, our mission is to show all veterans, men and women in uniform all over the world, that there are more programs out there beyond the VA. As you have heard, my name's H. Charles is sitting in for Amber. I really hope Amber gets to feeling better. Gosh, I hate seeing her in that predicament. Ugh, I really do. One thing that I want to bring up, the three top stories, the update on the Major Richard Act update. It continues to gain attention on Capitol Hill this week. Lawmakers work largely with veteran package. Veteran groups are pushing hard for passage because the bill would end the offset that prevents many combat injured retirees from receiving both full military retirement and VA disability compensation. Thousands of wounded veterans are watching closely. Why is Congress still making combat wounded veterans choose between benefits that they earned? That's the number one question. Why do we have to fight so hard, for this? That's the big deal. My thing is, the VFW and all these organizations, they should have joined this fight a long time ago, and this should have been done a long, long time ago. I don't know if you totally get the Richard Starr Act, but basically, when veterans from Iraq, from Afghanistan, probably even from Vietnam, I'm not really for sure, but when you're in combat, you get CRSC when you get injured. And if you've retired, like you're past 20 years, and then you get medical out, then you get your full everything. Okay. If you retire less than 20 years, you don't get your full thing. So that
one or the other.
Right. So they tax that. And this bill would eliminate that rule completely. That if, like, let's say if you got hurt, 2 months into Iraq, and you got blown up, it don't matter if you did 20 or not. You're going to get it.
Yeah, you still try to serve your country. I mean, you
right,
did.
Exactly.
You did the best
I
you
think
could
that's
and you got blown up.
right, exactly. I think that's important. I really do.
But why penalize somebody just because their life experience wasn't as long in the service as others? It's not like they wouldn't have stayed in longer if they could have, right?
Right, exactly. And the second story is, I don't even like soccer, but this is a huge thing right now. The FIFA World Cup kicks off in North America, the biggest sports story today. It's opening across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Sports radio is packed with discussions all about attendance, security, the U.S. team's chances, and the economic impact on the most cities. Can the United States make a deep run on home soil? Now, I don't really follow soccer, but I did see like a news report that, some of the top people that are on Team USA is like really, really good. We're just lucky that they got like dual citizenship or something like that. I forget what the whole thing was, but I don't know anything about soccer. I don't know who's playing. I don't know anybody. Do you know anybody?
I don't know much about soccer. I know I was down in the Dominican a few years back, doing some water purification, and everybody down there played baseball and soccer all the time. Everywhere we went, people were kicking balls. So I know when I was a kid, I played on a soccer team for like 5 years straight. But, that beginning stage of dementia kind of takes away the memories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I tell you, if HG was here, I'm sure he would know. But for those that are asking, HG isn't here today. Today is his day off. I gave him a day off. We're gonna do like every other Friday a day off.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of needs it. He's driving a long way. But mentioning that, let me remind everybody we just scheduled another remote August 4th. It's going to be on Highlands Ranch. Keep watching our Facebook page for updated information, because the updated information is way more accurate than the information I give out. And then next, I want to remind everybody that this Saturday, June 13th, is ML Gratitude's fourth annual giveaway. It's at Shifter Bar and Grill in Arvada. Come there. You can do the ride, get a ride and a shirt, donate about $45. It's a fantastic event. They're going to be giving away a motorcycle to a deserving veteran. So
that's wonderful. What date is that again?
Huh?
What day is that?
It's tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a long ride tomorrow. My coil went out in my Ultra Glide the other day, and when I were driving, and this thing's got like 145 foot-pounds of torque, which is quite a bit, I guess, is what they tell me. But we were doing really good, and then all of a sudden, after about 30 minutes of riding, it was having a hard time climbing a hill. Started backfiring. So, man, I'd have loved to came up there.
I know. I was talking to Amber about that yesterday.
Yeah.
She was like, I think you guys were planning to do it, and the date just got really close. That happens sometimes. Third story of the day before we go on a commercial break is Taylor Swift is in the news again. The entertainment outlets are heavily covering Taylor Swift right now after she became the youngest female inducted in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. The story is getting major attention because it highlights her influence on music, artists, rights, pop culture over the last 2 decades. Lover or hater, has any artist had a bigger impact on the music business over the last 20 years other than Taylor Swift? I would say that she would be our like generation of Michael Jackson.
Really? Yeah.
I think so.
I hate to say this, but I mean, I know the name Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But I normally just listen to Christian music, so I'm not aware of what's really going on. And then now culture, like I listened to the old 60s and 70s rock and roll and some country, but yeah, I'm not really familiar with her at all.
Right.
But she'd been around for a long time. I know that. I remember hearing about her a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, once again, that's the reason why we can't answer very many questions or answers with the soccer thing, because we really don't know. And, I wasn't thinking that HG wouldn't be here. Usually he does the sports thing. But I tell you what, everybody, we're going to go on our first music break. And when we come off of that music break, we will be hitting the What the segment. And the What the segment has a little different kind of twist to it today. So whatever you do, stay with us. Don't go away. You're listening to the show that highlights all the nonprofit programs out there beyond the VA. You're listening to the H Train Show right here on the station that's giving veterans a voice in VR.
Land of the free, caught from the brave, built on the bones of the dreams they gave. Not from your tweets or your keyboard cries, but from soldiers' blood under open skies. You wave your signs, say we owe you more, while heroes come home through a cold back door. You scream at the past, call it all a lie, but that flag still flies where the fallen lie. It ain't just thread, it's a soldier's shroud, a mother's tears, a father's proud. You burn it down, think you're breaking chains, but you're spitting on graves where freedom remains. If you got the right to burn my flag, I got the right to whoop your ass. You torch the stars, you stomp the stripes, but we bled for that through endless fights. If you hate this land, then walk away. I'll hold the door, I'll pave the way. You're free to speak, but don't you forget that flag's still standing. Soak blood and sweat. You lock your doors, but preach no borders here. While vets sleep rough with their ghosts and fear, you kneel in the spotlight, you ride for peace, but your words smell like smoke and your hands are grease. This land's not stolen, it's paid with pain by calloused hands in the sun and rain. You wanna erase what the brave ones built, that freedom stitched with their blood and guilt. It ain't just cloth, it's a warrior's cause, a final salute to the lives we lost. You call it hate, but it's love we defend for the ones who fought till the bitter end. Yeah. If you got the right to burn my flag, I got the right to whoop your ass. You spit on the ground where our heroes sleep, while their angels watch and their mothers weep. If you don't salute, then find your road. I'll pack your bags, I'll lighten your load. You're free to hate, but don't you forget that flag's still waving. It ain't done yet. This ain't about red, blue, or lines in the sand. It's about the millions who reached out their hands from fields of fire to factory floors. They built this dream through 1,000 walls. You can scream your truth, you can take your stand, but don't you dare curse the working man's land. That flag's their heart, their fight, their creed, and we'll stand tall for the ones who bleed. If you got the right to burn my flag, I got the right to whoop that ass. You torch the stars, you tear the seams, but you can't burn down the American dream. If you don't love it, then find your way. We'll keep the flame for another day. Your freedom to hate came at a cost, paid by the brave who carried that cross. So raise your voice, but choose it wise, 'cause we'll fight forever neath those starry skies. This is for the fallen who never came home, for the vets in the shadows who carry the stone, for the hands that built this, the hearts that broke, for the flag that flies through the fire and smoke. God bless the brave, God bless the fight, God bless the stars that still burn bright, and God help the fool who forgets what it means to stand for the truth of the red, white, and free.
And son, I just wanted you to know all your things are with me now. Yeah, they finally made it home. There's that brand new pair of boots you only wore once or twice. I found your army notebook there tucked inside. It's all laid out for me to see, and I can feel your presence right here with me. Everything you ever owned is sitting here with me, right down to your cowboy boots and jeans. And like a bad dream that doesn't seem to want to stop, it all came home in a cardboard box. Yeah, your uniforms, baseball caps, old t-shirts and socks, all that's left of you came home today in a cardboard box. There's that 49ers flag that hung above your bed, sweatshirts and ball caps in gold and red. Those camo uniforms are in there too, along with that black beret that meant so much to you. I have your patches, coins, and watches all up on a shelf, a solemn reminder of the life that you led. Everything you ever owned is sitting here with me, right down to your cowboy boots and jeans. And like a bad dream that doesn't seem to want to stop, it all came home in a cardboard box. Yeah, your uniforms, baseball caps, old t-shirts and socks, all that's left of you came home today in a cardboard box. Yeah, I know this old world will never be the same, so I try to just keep walking through this storm of pain. There's no rhyme or reason why you're gone so soon. There's no book or prayer that eases the pain of losing you. Son, I know that you're in a better place, but I just can't seem to shake this pain. So I try to keep holding on, just try not to go insane. I sit here in silence and think of you a lot, going through all of these memories in a cardboard box. Yeah, everything of yours came home today in a cardboard box.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. You're giving veterans a voice today. Powered by Work Simple, where we simplify your mission.
Find us on the web at mbradio.we.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the 12th of June, Red Friday. And we've got a fantastic show planned for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, something happened over the week. It's almost like a it's a crazy. Did I really do that? Yeah, I did.
Powerful songs, Joel. Both of those.
Hey, you know they really.
Oh
are.
my!
They really are.
The first one was like so awesome and inspiring, and the second one just made me want to cry, or actually probably made me cry a little bit. So
My fault. The what the because I try to change the segment up a little bit, and I forgot to load it up. So, with that being said, we're gonna do drop the date, and then we're gonna do what the segment. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is drop the date. All right, so June 12th, 1987. Ronald Reagan and the Berlin Wall. Welcome back to Drop the Mic. Today we're taking a trip back to June 12th, 1987, when President Ronald Reagan stood in front of one of the most famous symbols of division in world history and delivered a speech that people still talk about nearly 40 years later. Now, I'll be honest with you, before researching this, I knew the famous quote, but I didn't really understand the story behind it. So let's learn together, shall we? First, let's answer a simple question. What was the Berlin Wall? Well, after World War II ended in 1945, Germany was divided into two parts. West Germany became a democratic country supported by the United States and its allies. East Germany became a communist country controlled by the Soviet Union, even though Berlin was located inside of Germany. The city itself was also split in half. One side had freedom, free elections, the whole 9 yards. Elections, private businesses, opportunities. The other side was controlled by a communist government where freedom was restricted and the government closely monitored its citizens. People living in East Germany began leaving in massive numbers and moving to West Germany because they wanted more freedom, better opportunities. The communist government didn't like that. So in 1961, they built the Berlin Wall. Imagine waking up one morning and finding a wall dividing your city, your family, your friends, and your future. That's exactly what happened. The wall stretched over 96 miles and was heavily guarded. Some people risked everything trying to escape. The many succeeded. Many died trying. Why was the wall such a big deal? Well, the Berlin Wall wasn't just concrete and barbed wire. It became a symbol. It represented two competing ideas. One side believed that the government should control much of daily life. For decades, the wall stood as a reminder that the Cold War wasn't just a political disagreement, it affected real people and real families. What was the Cold War? Here's something many younger listeners may not know. The Cold War wasn't a traditional war. The United States and the Soviet Union never directly fought each other on the battlefield. Instead, they completely politically and economically, militarily, and technically, yeah, both countries had massive nuclear arsenals. For decades, people genuinely worried that one mistake could start a nuclear war. School children practiced nuclear drills. Families built fallout shelters. The fear was real. Veterans who served during the Cold War remember living under that constant possibility. Ronald Reagan was the president during this time, 1980, and he believed freedom was stronger than communism. He often spoke openly about it on June 12th, 1987. Reagan traveled to West Berlin, standing near the Brandenburg Gate with the Berlin Wall behind him. He delivered one of the most memorable speeches of the 20th century. Then came the line everyone remembers: Mr. Gorbachev tears down this wall.
Tear down the wall.
Huh?
Yes, tear down that wall.
Yeah, Gorbachev was tear down this wall. He was the leader of the Soviet Union at the time. Many people thought Reagan was being unrealistic. Some advisors even wanted him to remove that line from the speech, but Reagan kept it. Did the speech actually bring down the wall? That's a great question. And the honest answer is not by itself. The wall didn't fall because of one speech. Many factors contributed: economic problems, political pressure, citizens demanding freedom, changing sides, the Soviet Union. However, Reagan's speech, it became a power symbol. It publicly challenged communist leaders and encouraged people who wanted change. 2 years later, in November 1989, the Berlin Wall came down. Families reunited. People climbed onto the wall. Some literally chipped pieces off as souvenirs. The images were seen around the world. Why does this matter today? Well, because some people listening might be wondering, okay, that's interesting history. We care? Well, because history teaches us lessons. The Berlin Wall reminds us that what happens when the government divides people. It reminds us that freedom isn't guaranteed. It reminds us that ordinary people can help change history. Most importantly, it reminds us that the wall, it's not always made of concrete. Sometimes we build walls between families, between friends, between communities. Sometimes pride becomes a wall. Sometimes fear becomes a wall. Sometimes politics becomes a wall. The question that I want to throw to my listeners, to the audience, is: do you think words can change history? What speech has inspired you the most? And if you were standing at the Berlin Wall in 1987, would you have believed it would come down just 2 years later? And what walls do you think need to come down in our society today? You know, as I sit here and I I read this, it brings me back into this thing that I said to Amber a long time ago. Like, if we were born in the 1900s or the 1800s, like, life sucked. I mean, you had to do everything. There was no AI, there was no dishwasher, no washing machine. I mean, no
drama.
Exactly, and sometimes I think that today in life, like, we focus too much about the past or in the future and not in the present moment. I'm guilty of it. When I wake up, I take advantage of, like, the sunset, or the brisk air that you walk into. It's not too cold and it's not too warm, but it's morning time. That kind of brisk air. And sometimes, I think that as humans, I don't want to say we're entitled, but we take that for granted. We take that for granted, the wake up. And we shouldn't take that for granted. And the only people, it seems, that reflect on that are people that try to take their life. And if people try to take their life and they're telling you, hey, another day, it gets better tomorrow, you need to take heed of that. There's some people watching this program, and they're contemplating whether or not to do it because something happens, money wise, family wise, love wise. One of those pillars hasn't broke, it's cracked. Okay, because remember when we were in high school, if we ever lost a girlfriend or something, like, our world was caving in. So keeping that in mind. It's called growing pains for a reason, and you can't go to that next mission or that next level until God feels that you're ready. And that's the reason why we have trials and tribulations, is because he's maneuvering us into molding us into the path that he wants us to go. And, I think sometimes we force it. And I'm learning this. Don't chase. Walk away. When he's ready for you, he'll let you know. So that's one thing that I've learned.
I think of it in this way, Joel. The military got a lot of things right? I mean, they got a few things right anyways. When we break ourselves down, or when God allows us to be broken, and we get out of that season of life of brokenness, we're stronger. So it's just like basic training, right? What do they do in basic training? You come in there, you're a bunch of young kids that think you know everything, and
right,
and then they try to break you down to nothing and build you back up stronger. And so that's kind of how life is, and God works in that way sometimes. Not that he's breaking you down, but he allows you to go through things to get to your very last bottom, so that you can actually find your true self and learn how to serve him and live your life the way that he wants you to live your life. Problem is like, I've run into this myself, is where I don't allow that to work sometimes, and I feel sorry for myself, and I get in my own head and think that my life is so much worse than everybody else's, sometimes. And I just recently came out of that fog of, I don't know, you might say depression, whatever, or not wanting to exist type thing, not that I would have done anything to myself, but I just, and it was just like I'd been living in this cloud for a long time. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's clear. And now I'm like, I'm like, the last few days I've been happier than I've been in years. It's weird, but I had to let go of all this. I could do this to fix it, and I can do that to fix it, and I can do all these different things that God doesn't want me to do, or didn't have planned for me to do, and I just had to sit back and let God, realize that, when I'm weak, he is strong. And that's hard, it was, and it's weird because as soon as that happened, a gentleman I hadn't seen since maybe 1993 had posted something on Facebook about one of his friends, just out of nowhere, passing away. He was an electrician pulling wire and just fell down and hit his head. And so I went up there and prayed with his family. He had so many friends and family. I mean, I bet I prayed with 70 something people at the hospital, and they did his honor walk. I think, I don't remember if it was yesterday or day before, but it was like 10:30 at night. And they do that whenever they donate their organs. And I was like, you know what? So I've got some medical issues, I got some heart issues. I got some brain issues. I got some memory issues, whatever, and I was feeling sorry for myself. And then I looked, I was like, look, man, I've got a wife and kids, and my life's not perfect because I'm a human being. I screw things up, but I should just appreciate what I have, because I have more than many. And God's just good, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm rambling or not, but
that's all right. Well, hey, it's that time. It is the What the segment with a new look. And all I can say is, what happens when you lie on your job resume?
This investigation and the details surrounding it read like a movie script. This pilot had a 27-year career, and we are alleging that since 2009 has been flying for years, misrepresenting himself and his credentials to his employer and regulatory officials using fraudulent licensing documents. Having worked for Air Canada since the onset of his career, they rose to the position of pilot in command, where for almost 17 years, they flew Boeing 767s, 777s, and 787s. During that time, he captained over 900 domestic flights. Not just domestic, but international as well, earning millions of dollars in salary for those captaining flights, but also flew tens of thousands of passengers during that time period.
All right, so talk about lying on your job resume.
That's a wall you don't want to put up, Joel.
Right.
30 years later, they'll fire you for that.
You know,
Well,
it just goes to prove if you lie, sooner or later, it's going to come out sooner or later.
Yep.
Might take a long time. What will they do with him? I have no idea. But, you know,
put a medal on him. No.
It's funny because, you know, a long time ago, I talked to a radio mentor, and, you know, he was telling me that. Now, I have this quote that I always say that that being punctual or being, you know, in the now, being a yes man is a commitment. That's how I used to say commitment always beats talent. But I kind of have to change that. Not just commitment, but, you know, confidence. Confidence really beats talent. It really does, because you can almost do anything if you have a lot of confidence. You can do anything.
It turns into talent if you have a lot of confidence.
I really do think that, you know, because you can go anywhere, and if you have the confidence, like, you know what you're doing, and you're not like, you know, looking around or thinking, okay, how am I going to do this? Like, nobody's going to stop you. Nobody's going to say a word to you, you know? Like, you could probably, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, you know, my mentor told me, he's like, you know, I did so many years at Syracuse College. He was like, and when I got my job, he was like, they didn't ask to see a certificate. And I'm like, oh, isn't that crazy? Like, the important thing, honestly, for jobs isn't really if you went to school. It's if you had a degree, so that it's something that they can see okay, this guy made it to college. He made it to classes. He got the schoolwork done. You know,
he didn't quit.
It's not really about the education. It's more about, like, the structure, you know, because they don't know you. You know, you can have Bill Nye the Science Guy or somebody else, you know, lie for you. That's what they want to know. So it was interesting when he told me that they didn't ask to see it. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, my experience is a lot of jobs. The reason they'll like college graduates is just proof that you can start something and finish it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the Army was the same way with me. I actually dropped out of high school 6 months before I was supposed to graduate. But the reason was because I'd moved schools. And they told me that the credits I had wouldn't transfer at that time. And so I had to stay in for another year and a half longer than I was supposed to. And so I didn't. And so I got my GED, which was supposed to be the equivalent, but the Army wouldn't take me. The Marines wouldn't take me. The Air Force wouldn't take me. The Navy wouldn't take me. The only person that would take me was the National Guard, because we had so many people in Missouri that went into the service. Their quotas were met back in the 90s. And So I had to go into the National Guard first if I wanted to go into, full-time Army. And so that was my goal, is just 6 months of National Guard, transfer over to full-time. And then I met my wife. And
I remember that in the 90s, because Bill Clinton, he shut down a bunch of bases to kind of help the economic system. So I remember that.
They just want to make sure you have a track record, the places that hire you. And in my experience, I've hired hundreds of people in my lifetime. In my experience, non-college people that have experience are way more worth my time, because you go to college, you know nothing except what the teacher teaches you. Then you have to train them for 2 or 3 years to get them to be what you want them to be. Some people have the experience. You can hire them and they can fill in and be top notch just in a month or two. Just the learning curve, because they already know most everything already. But that's my experience. But that's not the way everybody hires. Mostly they want to see you finish something before they'll hire for a decent, for like a managerial job anyways, or a supervisor job.
Right. Well, everybody, we're going to go on our next music break. When we come back from we're going to do a commercial and 2-song music break. When we come back, we will be talking with veteran Eric Mitchell, and he used to be a part of Life Flip Media. Well, he has a new announcement. He's going towards something new, and he's going to tell us about it. So whatever you do, be sure to stay with us. Don't go away. Don't go anywhere. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Giving veterans a voice.
Lock in every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, for Tracer Rounds targeting veteran resources.
That was quick.
Hold on.
Giving veterans a voice.
Hey, Marianne. Today we're at the VA Medical Center talking about a benefit many veterans don't know about.
What's that?
If a prosthetic, brace, wheelchair, or prescribed medication damages your clothing, you may qualify for compensation. Let's walk through filling this out step by step. I'd like a copy of VA Form 108678.
Great. Let's fill it out together. First, enter your name information. Now check the box that applies to your prosthetic, brace, wheelchair, prescribed medication that damages your clothing.
I'm turning in my
That's
clothing
it.
allowance
That's
application.
it. And remember, share this information with another veteran who may qualify.
They thank me for my service. They shake my hand and smile. They say you made it home now, but they don't see the miles. And they don't hear the silence when the world goes to sleep, or see the ghost beside me in the memories I keep. I still see dusty highways, hear the rotor blades above, still see the folded flag handed to the ones they loved. And every single Memorial Day feels like I'm there again, standing in the middle of goodbye, losing brothers, losing friends. 'Cause I never really came back home. Part of me got left behind, with the names carved into stone and the tears that families hide. Everybody says I survived, like somehow I should feel whole. But every day I carry them deep within my soul. I made it back breathing, but I lost so much alone. The truth is, after war, I never really came back. some it's just a holiday, a barbecue a day away. But for those who wore the uniform, the hurt never fades away. It's birthdays they'll never celebrate, kids growing up without their dad, mothers holding pictures close, trying not to break too bad. And I asked God why I made it, why my sea was still filled, why I got another sunrise while my brothers never will. There ain't a medal for the guilt, no parade can heal the pain. You just learn to keep on breathing while it pours like endless rain. I never really came back home. Part of me got left behind, with the names carved into stone and the tears that families hide. Everybody says I survived, like somehow I should feel home. But every day I carry them deep within my soul. I made it back breathing, but I lost so much alone. The truth is, after war, I never really came back home. If you see me staring quiet, please don't think I don't care. I'm just talking to the memories of the ones no longer there. And every laugh, every freedom, every flag that waves today was paid for by the broken hearts of the ones who couldn't stay. No, I never really came back home, though my boots touch American soil. Part of me stayed on that battlefield, in the smoke and fear and turmoil. So this Memorial Day, remember, freedom came with heavy cost, and some of us are still searching for the pieces that were...
All right, and we are back. I don't know why it cut off so short, but that's okay. We're back. All right, so hey, we've had a pretty good show today. We learned something about what happened today. We learned that confidence can get you a long way. Joy said something in the comments about that, Charles. What is she talking about? She said, ask Charles about confidence.
Ah. You could take somebody with confidence, with some experience, and they can do anything. You can direct them in a certain way. You can teach them, you can train them, and they can excel. But I'm not sure who Joy is.
Joy is she's the show's moderator. She's our friend, which Joy, just so you know, we've sent you a red polo shirt. You should have gotten it by now. Or
that's one of the End of the Weeds followers, right?
Yes,
Joy?
yes.
Oh, right. Thank you, Joy. But yes, Amber did say that, I'm sure. I guess I have lots of confidence, Joel. So I got to ask you, Joel, at the beginning of this show, you were talking about the Richard Starr Act, right?
Yeah.
I think the reason it hasn't went through yet is because nobody wants the other side to win in politics, right?
That's true.
I think that's the reason, because, hey, man, if this great thing got done under this particular kind of president, then the other side doesn't like that. And in the same way, if another kind of, another politician's in there, well, then the other side don't want them to win. It blows my mind how, a lot of times our politicians just want to keep things from going through just so they have something to run on the next season. I always wondered, you might know more about this, but I remember years ago, Amber, she gets like travel pay when we go to the VA, right?
Right.
And if you notice, I don't know if it's Congress or who it is, but they get 20%, I think, of your travel pay.
Oh, wow.
Why do they need any of your travel pay? Maybe you should look into that, since you know a lot more about that, or you have more resources to find that stuff out than I do. And maybe that might be something you might be able to bring up. I just think, I don't always think that either side's working for for us sometimes.
Well, I know that when you go to the VA, when you have an appointment, you can get travel pay.
Mhm.
I'm not familiar with Congress getting travel pay.
Yeah, they take part of your travel pay. Whatever you get, they get a percentage of it. So you don't get 100% of what you're supposed to get. They get a part of your travel pay.
Well,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right?
No, it doesn't.
That's the way it is. I remember I was really mad for quite a long time. You could probably even ask Brock that. He'd probably be able to shed a little bit on there. But that's just one of those things that, man, if I knew somebody that, had some kind of sway, I would ask them that same question, like, doesn't matter what president's in there. If someone asked the president, well, why is Congress, or I don't know if it's Congress or the Senate, who it is, but somebody gets a percentage of your travel pay, or they used to, unless they changed it.
Well, I asked the back computer. The U.S. government gets 20% of our travel pay, so I'm looking to see exactly what comes up. So I mean, the guy coming up here soon for the interview. Once he gets here, I'm sure he knows the answer. This gentleman has been on Fox News. He's been on C-SPAN. He's been pretty much everywhere. He's a PR promotion, veteran. So when he comes up, I assure you, he knows for sure what how it's going. I'm gonna check on him. He says he's logging in, so we're literally just waiting for him now. There we go. Here he is. All right, everybody, it is that time. It is the interview of the week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and I forgot to hit it. Eric, welcome to the show. Appreciate you taking time out of your day being with us. Before we get started, Charles brought something up, and I'm like, you'd be the one to ask about this, because I don't even know if ChatGPT is correct about this. But Charles was mentioning that, kind of like when you go to the VA and you get paid travel pay and stuff for, your appointments and stuff, that Congress gets 20% of that travel pay.
Yeah, it was like 15 years ago when my wife was getting this travel pay, and I remember looking at it, and like they were getting a percentage of her travel pay every time. Like, why would Congress or whoever get part of our travel pay? It doesn't make sense, does it?
Nothing Congress does make sense. They take more vacations than any standard American does. I mean, they seem to be always on recess or always on Twitter, and I don't know when they work, because I mean, most of us, if we did what they did, we would not have jobs. So, I mean, does it really surprise us as people who serve our country that somehow Congress is like, we won't send our own kids to do what you guys do, but we're going to make sure we get paid when you guys get paid, because, well, yeah, that's just Congress. I always laugh because people say it's like both sides of the aisle. I'm like, yeah, both sides of the aisle are just as guilty. If you're in DC, you don't have very many morals. So it's, there's so very few veterans that are even in Congress. So it's sad to see, but are we really surprised?
And the veterans that are in Congress, we've learned this, I'd say the last couple of years, that they don't have very good character.
No, they don't. And it's disappointing because so many of them, I mean, I know a couple of them that have been elected and actually worked with a couple of them. And the fact of how much they changed once they got into Congress it's crazy how, and they'll even tell you, they're like, oh, I'll never change. I'll be, the upstanding, person I was when I served. Funny how they get there, and that power and lobbyists and everything changes you.
I mean, I'm not going to mention names, but everybody knows who I'm talking about. There was an individual that was made fun of on Saturday Night Live because of his disability. And I remember full well that I presented that sign that changed org, and I don't know if it did anything, but he was on Saturday Night Live that next Saturday, and he was doing something for Veterans Day. And I'm like, I was really like rooting for this guy because I'm like, this is great, and then Sean Ryan came out, and then all these different people coming out, like just questioning his integrity. And it wasn't so much the question of integrity that got me; it was the response to the questions. Anybody can say anything that they want, but when you respond, and it's like, did he really just say that, or okay, all right. So that's how he's going to respond.
Well, since we're not naming names, but we're talking about it, it seems to be that community of those said people, that community. I mean, you look at, what was it? Gallagher was the guy's last name. I mean, they all go on social media. They all have their ongoing feuds. I mean, there's a major podcast host who also has the same kind of background as the person we're not naming. And we're not going to name the podcast host either, but I think everybody knows who we're talking about. I mean, and you just see that. It's just funny how that community, especially, they will cut each other's throats with a smile on each other's face and act like it's no big deal. And it's crazy because, we all made a big deal about that Saturday Night Live episode because that was the first time I think the veteran community had ever been publicly attacked in any which way or form. We were like, whoa, we're off limits. You don't get to come at us. Like,
right.
That's not how this works. Like,
it doesn't work. President, don't come after us.
No, you can go after everybody else, but I think veterans. I mean, I just think mocking us for anything, and they were mocking his disability. I mean, he lost it in combat. So what's next? Are we going to go after guys hit with IEDs? Are we going after people who lose limbs? I mean, what are we doing here? It's like, truly, there's some things that just need to be off limits, and that would be one of them. So it was just funny to see that. And, then you see that community and they're so toxic towards each other. And I just, you don't want to see that spread. But unfortunately, after that, then you see the toxicity spread even throughout the veteran community, which really was upsetting to me. I hate to see that because we're the last people that should be going at each other's throats.
Right.
We should be.
But that happens so much in the veteran community, though. I mean, you really see it bad on TikTok. I'm starting to call TikTok tick drama because I mean that's the only thing that's on TikTok anymore is drama and hey, you want to buy this? Lots of amateur commercials. So
I've never been on TikTok, Joel.
I know.
Not even once.
I know.
I don't watch it. I don't have the app.
But Eric, you was a part of an organization not too long ago. Of course, I always butcher the name when I believe it is Life Media Flip. Is that correct? Oh, I lost your sound. Your mic.
Are you muted?
Are you muted? No, he's not muted.
Hear me now?
There you
go.
There you go. Hey, it's amazing. Marines, they should never let Marines touch anything. You know how it is. We're over here eating crayons and, fat fingers.
I'm sure I butchered the name, but I'm sorry.
You're good. It's Lifelit Media. It's perfect.
Okay, perfect. And like you recently walked away from that, and you have this special announcement. And I figured you'd like to talk about it on the show today.
I love it, and thank you. I mean, it was hard closing LifeFlip. I mean, I did an article on it last week, and it was just something. After 13 years in business, I created LifeFlip with my beautiful wife of 22 years. We saw a need for in the veteran community 13 years ago that we all really didn't have a voice. These brands that were smaller at the time, and if it's okay to say these are huge names that we're all very common with, like Black Rifle Coffee and Grunt Style. I think there isn't a veteran out there that doesn't know either one of those brands. I mean, they're very common. This was back before anybody really knew who they were, right? Guys like Matt Best, who was just known as a creator at the time. I mean, his videos still to this day, if you put them on, if you go to YouTube and see Matt's content, it's hilarious. I mean, it's early stuff that the veteran community was putting out that was so funny that the other side of the community, the civilian world was looking at it like, who are these gun-toting people running around with their shirts off, shooting off every awesome firearm they can, and girls in bikinis who turn out to be veterans. Here we all are, and they're like, well, these guys are all common. One thing we all have common is most of us are tatted up, have beards, have fun, like to have fun, love our country, or we're building businesses. So I created LifeFlip off of that. I wanted to give veterans a voice, started putting them on TV, and we had a good run. But I think one thing a lot of people, when you build a business, is it kind of has its run through, right? And you kind of, I spent the last few years, especially after COVID, trying to, I guess at the end of the day, I'm very open about it, find the passion to keep doing it. And it wasn't just the veteran community, because we started working with athletes and influencers, which, by the way, are not fun people to work with. They're probably the worst human beings on earth to work with. And it kind of just burns you out, right? After a time, you just reach a point. And, I sat down, had some heartfelt conversations with my inner circle, and was like, this is a time. And then I was given an opportunity to do what I'm doing now by a good friend, and actually a role that years ago I always wanted to be able to have. Sold myself short that I would ever be able to get a role like that, but because of LifeFlip, it caused me to get it. And now I have a unique opportunity, not just to be the voice for the veteran community, but I also get to be the voice for the smaller people out there, because my role now is to be a disruptor, which I absolutely love because it fits what I did when I built LifeFlip. And now it's to start fighting, we see it every day on social media. We see it everywhere in the news, this government regulation of our freedoms with going on. And if you don't like what somebody says about you, and it's sad because we're talking about, people who should have thicker skin if people are talking about them on social or the news or somebody. I'm sorry, not every time a news story is going to be flattering about you, but to go out and try to hunt people down and get their bank accounts and what they're saying and almost make this list, right? The McCarthy, I'm aging myself here, but McCarthyism that existed in the 50s and even before that, to go back to that and have government control over what we're saying and taking away our basic freedoms that we all fought for and we take so serious. And you guys either can disagree with me or agree, but I think that some of the freedoms, some of the things people are allowed to do, I don't like. Flag burning, I don't like that. It irritates me when people burn our flag. I love our flag. But guess what? It's a freedom that they're allowed to have. Not all of them do we have to like and agree with, but we all raised our right hand, said we would die for this country. So guess what? People have a right to do things that I don't agree with, but I don't have time in my life to worry about. I raised 4 kids. They're all out of the house. I have a grandbaby. I don't care about anything else. Let you go off. You want to burn my flag? Just don't do it in front of me, because I can't guarantee I won't hit you. But it's your right. And I think, that's why I decided to close LifeFlip, which was hard to do, but move into a role that actually makes my reach go just more than the veteran community, but provide voices for people who are afraid to speak up and do it. I have no problem stepping out in front and being a loud voice. I have fear very little. I've lived a good life, and I'm not really worried about anything. I probably have the best inner circle any person could have, and I wake up with a smile on my face. So I knew I made the right decision when I woke up, and I looked at my wife and I said, this is the first time in a long time I felt alive for what I'm doing. And, it goes back to when I had started LifeFlip. So it was good to get that energy back. And I can tell you, since I did it, it's been the best thing I've ever done. I wake up full of just like energy that I hadn't had in years. So it was a good choice. I mean, and I've walked away. I still have veteran clients that I'm still taking care of, because I'll never walk away from the veteran community, because I absolutely love our community, good, bad, and ugly. I'd rather be a voice of reason. And, hey, you've seen me. I call people out when it needs to be called out, because, I have no fear, and somebody has to speak up, because there's not enough voices.
Because you closed, it doesn't mean that you won't ever do that again with with your new mission that you're on. And I mean, like you said, you have all these connections that can help veterans, in weird awkward situations. I mean, we could talk about some of the situations, but you and I know both what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to PTSD and all those other mental health stuff. So there's somebody that you're partnering with, that you're making this comeback, or when's the debut of this new organization?
Well, it's if you look there, it's Sacred Loop AI. So it's artificial intelligence, which I'm a geek for. like it or not, it's here.
Yeah.
And it's funny for me, being somebody who's a journalist, been covering media, speaking on it. AI has been, I remember 7 years ago, people talked about it like it was a foreign topic. It would never come to be. And now it's such a part of our life. And I mean, if, we sit here, I mean, AI is talked about every day since February 28th, since we started whatever we're calling Iran. Because I personally don't know, because I know 5 minutes before I came on with you, I was trying to figure out what in the world is going on today in the news, because it feels like every 5 minutes we have an agreement ceasefire, but one side doesn't know. I don't know who's in charge. I know if that was, I'm confused, but AI is a big part of it. And if you think about how much control that has, and you no longer have to hire an army of people to look at people and control. And I just actually, moments before I came on here, I just released an article, and it talks about, things that happen while we sleep that are past. The government, the Pentagon has 100% control of the AI that they're using. And the AI company can't stop anything the Pentagon is doing. So when they go off the rails, some madman can literally go off the rails. And I'm not talking about current administration. I'm talking about the future, which we always have to think about, not just current. And I think we all get that, but a lot of people don't. They're just like stuck in the moment, and they're like, current president, this is the issue. But what we should be focusing on is down the road in the generations to come. My younger kids, my grandbaby. Those are the things I think about, because we can't lose control of this great country, and we can't have mad people in tech who seem to run everything. And granted, love tech, but we've all seen tech kind of be used for evil, and we've seen, elections manipulated by it with Facebook, that whole thing that happened in 2016 with the Cambridge stuff, where both parties, both the Clinton party and the Trump party, were using this technology to run ads and kind of target people. And it was the first time we've all ever seen that. So, I think one of the big things in working with Sacred Loop is we have to be very, we have to be awake at the wheel, because history repeats itself. And unfortunately, I don't know what it is about when we create something that's supposed to be for good, we always find a way to weaponize it for bad.
Oh, yeah. Always.
And it drives me insane, because we have amazing things. We have amazing technology that can really make changes and help people and help businesses and help brands. And instead, we just turn it into a weapon that we can use against each other and use it. Just, I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't use it against enemies of our country, because yes, bomb them to oblivion if they're enemies of our country and they attack us and especially if you harm our troops. There's absolutely no tears dripped over here. When you harm one of ours, I think we should take out thousands of yours for just one of ours. But that's just me. I live in Texas. I fly a Texas flag. You harm a hair on an American's head. I'm a Reagan kid. I remember back, was it like somebody bombed a bar in Tripoli? I remember this is like my one of my memories I remember. I think there was like a couple sailors killed. Reagan bombed the hell out of Libya for it. Like, Reagan was like, and he didn't even wait. He didn't go tweet, I'm going to maybe do this. No, he did it. He was like, bye. We're going to make you people glow in the dark. And, that's the America that I remember. And I think we can get back to it kind of with a newer spin to it. But I think that's where we need to be. So, working with Sacred Loop, being the CMO, working with a great, the founder of the company is just an amazing, amazing guy. Truly loves America, but truly loves wanting to help the small guy get a voice. And that's what drew me to it. And, and one of the big things that I loved when we were talking and helped me do it is the fact that he wants me to bring veterans on as we start the hiring process, finding veterans and fill that in, because he sees the strength that you bring. Hey, some of the vets are the best you can ever hire, because we come in, we don't believe in, punching a clock and, it's 5 o'clock, I'm out of here. No, we finish our mission and get the job done. And I think that's what people don't understand, is a lot of us are pit bulls and we'll go out and do our jobs. And, we love what we do. Right? And
I always said we get paid salary, not hourly. So, we're going to hurry up and get shit done so that we can go back to the barracks or go to the commissary and count how many tomatoes there are per I mean, people, they had us do some stupid shit, let me tell you.
Oh, for sure.
Stupid stuff. Okay, so CMO, is that a nonprofit that you're on the board of, or is it a business?
It's a business. It's a full-fledged business that you'll start seeing more and more of. over the next few weeks, and I'll share it with you and everyone else, because I highly encourage people. I mean, and again, it's AI. It's a new technology. A lot of people, we all know how people are with technology. I mean, I swear when I go to my mom's house and visit, I'm always fixing something, including why the VCR that she doesn't use, the time blinks on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, you don't even use the VCR. Why don't you just unplug it? But I mean, we see how, generations, and I think Gen X, I'm proud to be part of, we kind of were the blend over. We had the old school. We were raised by the greatest generation ever. My grandfather served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. I'm honored to call him a role model. But those are the people that raised all of us, right? And, here we are, we're coming in, and we're a generation that fought 20 years on the battlefield. And that's huge for a lot of people. People don't look at it. 9/11 is one of those things that all of us remember. And we all remember those days right after 9/11. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, how united we all were.
Yeah.
And I think now we have this mission, and that's why I'm doing it, is, we need to get back to that united stuff, because it's actually in our name. It's pretty cool. I tell people this all the time. Like, it's not just America we live in. It's cool. It says United. It's really cool that it's in our name. So we should, act accordingly. Yeah. But, this mission is, and I'm excited to roll it out, people to wake up and kind of see what's going on, because unfortunately, and I've pulled the data and seen it, the news that we're getting, and it doesn't matter where you get it from, it is so fast, right? A new story comes in and it's gone seconds later.
Yep.
And you could be missing things. Like, fun fact, and here, I'll put it out here because you mentioned PTSD. Do you know right now in America, we have one of the biggest crises on our hands is our younger generation, the age 12 to 20, I believe 2024, has the highest depression and like suicide rate of any group. I mean, outside of all veterans, obviously, our 22 or more a day is beyond a pandemic that seems to be like, oh, I did some push-ups, that cures it. But you look at it, and that's a huge story, but do you see it in the news?
No,
they glaze right over it. And this is a generation that they told us, oh, don't worry, we'll keep them out of school for this vaccination crap that they came up with. They kept them out of school. I mean, even my wife appeared on Fox and Friends during the pandemic and said, this is a huge problem. You're keeping these kids. What do you think is going to happen down the road? Depression's going to set in. They don't have all the social skills we had, right? We all played outside. I drank out of a hose during the summer. I wasn't allowed back in. My dad said, if you need the restroom, you can pee in a bush over there. That's just how we were raised in the South. And these kids just stay in their room in the dark, headphones on, talking to invisible strangers from all over the place. They're not outside. They're not skinning their knees. I mean, raise your hand if you ever played football on the asphalt and got tackled, right? I mean, I got scars to prove it. I got one under my neck from climbing a tree that got struck by lightning. I skinned my whole chest. I went running towards the screen door because I wasn't allowed in the house. My dad goes, you're cool. You're good. Squirt yourself with a hose. I'm like, thanks, Dad. I literally have a scar underneath my neck for life. I'm 50 years old. I still have this scar from a tree branch going into my neck. And my dad was like, you're good. Put some dirt on it. Yeah, could you imagine that today? So again, technology, I think people waking up and seeing the news is just brushed over stories that are really important to us. So again, this is my mission. I'd love to, my wife and I have talked about creating a nonprofit really for, veterans. We're very passionate about, domestic violence. My wife and I, really, I don't know if you guys saw, I put a post up just the other day about it, but, to me, that is something that a lot of people don't talk about, especially as a guy seeing it. There's a lot of that. And I'd love to create a nonprofit because I think there's a lot of things going around that I want to be able to help more veterans. I'm connected to an amazing mill spouse who also is part of the Bob Dole Foundation. And she's just an amazing gal. And I, kind of watch her mission. It kind of inspires me. So I've just, like I said, in the last couple of weeks, my brain is just firing on all cylinders and really wanting to create more and do more. So I think being able to have the role I have as a business is going to spin off some nonprofits that I've always wanted to create and put a voice behind. And I'm married to probably the best woman on the planet. Although you guys, if you're married, you probably say your wives are better. But my wife is a simply amazing woman. And definitely her voice and the fact that she can help so many, just kind of working together and creating something that we can be passionate about is what we're going to be able to do. But, first I get to have this dream job that I've always wanted and be a voice and then create something else. So you'll see it. It'll be on social. I don't keep my mouth shut on there, and I'm excited.
So shed some light. For example, let's use MBR as an example. If a business or a veteran or a nonprofit came to your company and said, okay, take me, like, what are some of the things that you would help them do so that we get an idea of what your company does?
So basically, it helps them understand how to truly use AI, right? There's really no directions when it comes to using all these AI platforms out there. Claude, ChatGPT, all of them that are out there, right? There's so many, it's so hard to say, right? I mean, the White House is going to have 15 of them I didn't even know there was 15 of them until I read that in an article. And we help companies understand the power of using it, giving them, the insight into how to use these tools to get through. There's some restrictions on there that a lot of people don't know. And it's getting through the restrictions and using the right verbiage and almost pushing these platforms to a limit so you can get the maximum power out of it. So you can actually run your business and maximize your business and making dollars and not having to hire a whole bunch of people. And yes, I know you're not hiring a bunch of people, but come on, let's be real. You don't need a lot of people. I mean, trust me. I started LifeFlip. I needed to hire everybody, give everybody fancy titles, had so many people. And then I look at my accountant and go, where did all our money go? And they're like, oh, you're paying people. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought the whole purpose of me creating a company is, yes, I pay people, but I actually see a little bit of this. And instead I'm like, why am I still shopping at Walmart and everybody else is shopping at Whole Foods? That's not fair. Just kidding on that. But I mean, it's just, to me, that's what our business does. So it's helping businesses and individuals understand that they can really take off and use and maximize the power of these tools and wake people up to see about control and regulation that's out there, that it's not just some fancy word or fake media, as you'll be told if somebody disagrees with it. Government regulation is something we should all be concerned about, and your freedoms being taken from you. And it's not just your freedoms as an individual, it's your freedoms as a business, as a small business. We are all targeted as small business owners out there. If you own a small business, you're being targeted by big brands, right? Big tech wants to take you down because these big brands are out there and they're taking your money and they want to knock down these small businesses. They don't like us. And, again, it goes back to my original mission, supporting veteran small businesses. So being able to go, here, this is how you fight that. This is how you know what's coming. And you use these tools the same way these big brands and big tech are using them to make your brand kick ass too. And that's what we bring to the table, is letting people go, oh, crap, I can be just like the big dogs and not have, this special insight and have to drop billions of dollars and fly people to Epstein Island and all that crap to be successful.
I love it. I love it. Well, Charles, before I go to the time to shine, do you have a question that you'd like to ask him? I forgot to give you that opportunity.
No, that's all right. He's pretty much explained things very well.
All right. Well, Eric, it is that time. Eric, it is that time. It is the time to shine. As a reminder that veterans and first responders, they run on Duncan. Eric, maybe I might not have asked you the right question or set you up for something that you wanted to really talk about today, get off the chest. This next 2 minutes is whatever you want to do, platform, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to promote, whatever you want to say. This is your 2 minutes to do so. And in advance, thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, first off, I want to thank you all for having me on. It's an honor. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, so it's great to hop on today. And my whole platform is just, I post about it passionately. People, as something I've learned as I've aged is just, go out and don't be afraid, right? I think that's something so many people are afraid to do, is don't be afraid to take that leap. And as we started the show, you talked about me putting out this announcement of closing a business that I was very passionate about. For 13 years, I created it. It meant the world to me. It provided for my family, but I took a leap because I got to do something I wanted. And I surrounded myself with the right people. I kept my inner circle very, very tight, and I do that for a reason. And truly, it sounds cheesy. Anybody wants to mock me, go on social and go ahead. A lot of it, I thank my beautiful wife of 22 years. I think I've said that 100 times. So in case anybody doesn't know, married 22 years. I have a beautiful wife who I'm blessed as a man that not just only is my wife, but truly a badass business partner, my best friend, and she stands behind me. And yes, I'm a badass Marine who can do just about anything, but without her in my corner, and I tell people all the time, make sure you have the right people in your corner at all times. And those people will support you and lean on them, and don't be afraid to communicate. And that's what so many people, I think men are so afraid to do that, right? Because we have those little beta boys, the Tate brothers who are out there, and people are sharing all their stuff. And, you know, those guys aren't role models for men. And that's my big message here in my 2 minutes is if you're a man and you're a role model, especially if you're a veteran, you've done some amazing things. Don't forget that. Don't get caught up in this, you know, beta male stuff where you think you just need to be dominant over everybody. You don't. You can be a role model instead. And I think that's what this upcoming generation does. And I think this is where we put our foot on the ground and start uniting people. And it doesn't matter how you vote, because y'all remember back in the day, did anybody really care how you voted? Nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. Now it's like we hate each other because we don't agree with who.
I agree with that. I agree with it. But, you know, one other thing I don't understand on like social media is somebody will sit there and they'll stand up for, like, a politician could be wrong, dead wrong, and somebody will sit there and they will respond like, you know, like supporting them, and then if you challenge them, you know, they'll block you on friend. But the thing is, you know, I'm more likely to bail you out of jail than Biden is or than Trump is.
So, oh yeah, they don't know you. I mean, that's what I tell people all the time. It's like, how do you support people who don't even know your freaking name? Do you think they're showing up to support you?
Right, exactly.
It's just like a week ago, people got mad at me. I got attacked because, I'll say it right here, Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, took a VIP snorkel tour of the USS Arizona. I was stationed in Hawaii. I was promoted on the USS Arizona as a corporal. And trust me, swimming in those grounds, that's hollow ground that if anybody's a World War II buff or anything. So what's next? Is he going to go walking around in the little water and the waterfall at the towers, at the Freedom Tower for 9/11? What, I mean, oh, how dare you? It's just you. No, there's no excuse for, I don't care what political party you are. No, you should be fired for what you're doing because that's just hollow ground. Those people are actual warriors. That coward didn't even raise his right hand and even serve. So stay the hell out of our water. You go stick to having your bug eyes and going to UFC fights. It just drives me nuts that we're not allowed to have common sense and say those things because, oh, you hate Trump. It's like, no, I hate stupid people. It doesn't mean I don't think there's anything wrong with hating stupid people. I think we just have to call out stupid people. But they also tell me I'm not allowed around throat punching people, so I'm not allowed to do that either. So,
Eric, thank you so much for being on with us. I appreciate it, man, and we'll keep connected, and maybe we can do some more stuff because I personally would like to be on Fox and Friends sometime. Or C-SPAN or something. Just throwing it out there, you know.
You got it. Check your email. I'll be taking care of
it. All right, Eric, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Eric Mitchell from CMO Sacred Loop AI. Eric, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for everything you do, Eric.
For your service, and have a fantastic week.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great weekend, and thank you all for listening.
All right, God bless you.
And God bless you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody, it is that time. It is the time where we go to the tribute to the troops. So I thought that was a really great interview. Learned a little bit more about what he's doing. And, you know, he gave us an example of what they do. I think that kind of helps. You know, you can tell somebody that they're an engineer, but if you can't exactly express what you do, well, then we don't really know what you do. Kind of like Chandler Bing. So that's a friend's remark if anybody's paying attention. But hey, it is that time. We're gonna go to Tribute to the Troops, who is not only sponsored by the Honorable Foundation, but it's also provided and presented by Tracer Rounds Podcast. Stay with us, and when we come back, final thoughts.
Cool. Detail attention.
First call. The service member's name is called out loud in the context of a unit. This is meant to ensure all are present and accounted for. Second call. The name is called out again, louder, to confirm that the service member is indeed absent. Third call. The name is called out for a final time, followed by a statement indicating that the service member is not present and accounted for, signifying their death. The final roll call serves as a symbolic gesture to respect and remember their service.
Sir, I'm not telling the story.
Well, you got to, Joe. You tell him there's people what these men did here. You tell him how my troopers died.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to MBR Today as we pay tribute to Customs and Border Patrol Agent David Christopher Malin, age 44 of Vermont. David, or Chris as he was known to his friends, was born on February 19, 1980 to parents David and Nona Lynn Malin in Blue Earth, Minnesota. Chris graduated from Fairmont High in 1999 and enlisted in the Air Force in June of the same year. While in the Air Force, Chris served for 6 years as a Security Forces journeyman, serving as active security in 2001 at the Pentagon on 9/11. Chris served in the State Department as a canine handler with his canine partner Ben, protecting executives in the U.S. government. Chris earned his Bachelor's of Arts degree from Metropolitan State University in 2012. Chris joined the U.S. Border Patrol and was stationed in Texas as a Border Patrol agent, serving 2 years. In 2019, he transferred to Newport, Vermont as a K-9 Border Patrol agent and a member of the Mobile Response Team. Chris died in the line of duty on January 20, 2025 in Vermont while on a traffic stop on Interstate 91 in Coventry, about 20 miles south of the U.S. and Canadian border. The female driver of the stopped car, without warning, exited her vehicle and opened fire on Malin and other agents, sparking a shootout that left her companion dead. Both belong to a group called the Zyzians that may be linked to 6 deaths in 3 other states, investigators said. Chris was a dedicated agent who served 9 years with honor and bravery. He had a tremendous respect and pride for the work he did, and he truly embodied selfless service. Chris loved the outdoors and was an avid camper, hiker, hunter, and mountain and rock climber. Chris is survived by his parents, his brother, extended family, as well as his brothers and sisters in arms. We here at MBR would like to thank you, Agent David Christopher Malin, for your service and dedication to our country. You leave a legacy of love and courage. Our prayers are with your family, friends, and those who served alongside you. You are truly missed.
Bell detail, pin tip, ready.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Front line, pay the ultimate price. He was the man of the house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with only one hand. 'Cause Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down here the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Marching line. Hey. Hey.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. You're giving veterans a voice today. Powered by Work Simple, where we simplify your mission.
Find us on the web at mbradio.we.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We're back on this wonderful Red Friday, June 12th. We got 44 minutes past the hour here on the Ace Train Show, where once again our mission here is to show veterans and our men and women in uniform all over the world that there are more programs out there beyond the VA. My name's H, and I have Charles sitting in for Amber. So, Charles, today you're the eye candy, since Amber's not here. So, there you go.
I have long hair. I'm sorry.
So we have a kind of a new segment, but we didn't make an intro on it. It's to cover the last 15 minutes before final thoughts. And Amber chose this instead of doing horoscopes because we was doing horoscopes for a while. And yeah, so random fact of the week: bananas are berries, strawberries are liars. Welcome to this week's edition of the random information you didn't know you needed to know. Here's something that completely sounds made up. Bananas are berries, strawberries are not. I know, right? It feels like science has betrayed us. According to botanists, a berry is a fruit that develops from a single flower with a single ovary, and the seeds are contained inside the fruit. Bananas check all the boxes, so they're officially berries. Strawberries, on the other hand, are botanical imposters. The red part we eat isn't actually the fruit. Those tiny yellow specks on the outside are actually the real fruits, each containing a seed, because strawberries develop from multiple ovaries in one flower. They are classified as an arrogant fruit, not a berry. And it's weirder. Raspberries and blackberries aren't berries either. Meanwhile, these are berries: bananas, grapes, tomatoes, kiwis, eggplants, and avocados. So the next time someone asks what a berry is, you can confidently tell them apparently not a strawberry.
I always thought that fruit was on a tree and berries were on a bush or a vine. What happened to that old knowledge from the 1970s and 80s?
Well, you know, and I think it's funny that, you know, while a long time ago, we all knew that cigarettes causes cancer. We all know that, you know.
Used to be healthy.
But this year we have found out in previous episodes that like alcohol can contribute to cancer, and like not very many people are talking about that. You know, they're still drinking. You know, will there ever be a warning label on beer saying this could cause cancer? I don't know. It has a warning label, you know, shouldn't drink it if you're pregnant, or you know, something like that. But you know,
you know what all cancer survivors and not survivors have in common? What causes cancer? Life. Living life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If we went through life not doing this because you might get sick, not doing that because you might get sick, don't ride a motorcycle because you might get in an accident, don't drive a car, it'd be pretty boring, wouldn't it?
It would.
You know, and you know, I don't smoke and that kind of stuff, but I feel like if you're not hurting someone and you want to enjoy, you need something to relax, enjoy yourself, whatever it is you're doing, if you're not hurting someone, it's not really negatively affecting your life, I mean, do it. Because look, those same people that get cancer smoking, most of them may have gotten cancer anyways a few years later, because I've known people that had lung cancer that never smoked a day in their life.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Look at George Burns.
I don't even know who that is.
George Burns, he was back in Johnny Carson days. He smoked a cigar constantly, and he lived to be like 100 and some years old. I mean, he died of old age. Yeah, so it can happen. Hey, it is that time, Charles. It is the final thoughts for today.
At Project ML, gratitude. Our mission is simple: to give motorcycles to veterans who need the kind of peace and freedom that only a ride can give. We sponsor charity events and rides to generate donations and fund the acquisition of some bikes, while direct bike donations make up the rest. We seek to provide a little motorcycle healing to capable vets.
All right, and remember, tomorrow at Shifter and Bar and Grill, if you're in the Colorado or Nevada area, I strongly encourage you, come out, eat something, drink some stuff, go on a little poker run, watch a veteran receive a motorcycle. It's very humbling when you see a gift given to another veteran, you know, so make sure you do that.
Do you know what kind of motorcycle they're giving away this time?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
And do we have information if there's listeners out there today that have an extra motorcycle in their garage, or maybe a loved one had passed and they might want to spread that joy to some veterans. You got a way that they can reach them?
Yeah, just reach out to us and we'll forward the email and we'll connect you to the right person so that there's not a whole bunch of red flags and stuff. So
Yeah.
send us a message and we'll coordinate the connection. Sorry about that. Excuse me. The final thoughts. What did you learn today, Charles?
I learned that this life is extremely complicated, and we've got to learn to use the tools given to us, even if we don't like them. AI is something that's here to stay, and there's going to be some people out there using it for nefarious reasons, and other people using it to help spread good works and good deeds. And so I just want to encourage anybody that has an issue with AI, just realize it's there as a tool to help others do good for others. And for those that are using it nefarious, I hope that you stop. But that's what I learned today.
I learned that Ronald Reagan could possibly be one of the biggest reasons why the Berlin Wall came down.
Yeah. We used to hide underneath our desks. It's like Russia, or
Right?
the Soviet Union's coming. We used to do drills. Several times a year. It was very funny. I mean, at the time it wasn't, because we actually thought that we were going to get nuclear bombed, and we were naive enough to believe that getting underneath our desk would save us from a nuclear blast, right? But that might sound weird, but if the kids today had something like that they had to deal with, they might snap out of some of this selfishness that we see. It's just reality sets in, and sometimes you have no other choice but to live life, not get stuck.
That's very true. You can judge somebody about like issues or trouble that they've been in the past, but we never asked them like, what choices do you have though? I think it makes a big difference. I was talking to my cousin about that, earlier this week, that, stuff has happened in the past and, he apologized for it. And I'm like, well, what choice did you have though? Cause like, I know his childhood. I know, so I think it's important before you get mad at somebody or before you blame somebody or even before you like stop communicating with them, put yourself in their shoes and think, well, what would you have done different? Understanding is half the battle, I think.
When we do something wrong, we need to own it, right? Like our past is our past. We wouldn't be who we are today if it wasn't for the mistakes we've made. And like we were talking about earlier, you've got all those walls up around you. You can't really go nowhere, tear those walls down, rebuild and just move forward and be productive in life, whatever you can do, because most people don't realize the limitations that some people have based on decisions they made in their past and decisions that were made for them, in service and by their parents or, the law enforcement, the area they grew up in. I mean, nobody really knows. Just don't be ashamed of what you've done. Give it to God and just go forward, be productive in this life, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We just have today, right? We never know when our last breath will be. Just use that last breath to do something good.
Yeah, most definitely.
Like serving on military broadcast radio.
There you go.
That's
most
right.
Definitely.
Something great, not just good, but great.
Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for today. But before we end this broadcast, Once again, we just want to remind you tomorrow is the 13th annual giveaway ride, Shifters Bar and Grill in Arvada. Make sure that you hit that up. And make sure this weekend, everybody, it's your weekend safety briefing. Let's keep the light and safe. Number one, if you get mad at your spouse, don't go WWE on her. Just walk away like you're existing in the ring. Number two, don't drink and drive. Don't drive while drinking. You're not auditioning for a comedy skit. Number three, if you're boating, wear the proper life jacket unless you think you're a duck. And therefore, you don't do anything wild. Think, do I want to face my boss on Mondays with a story? Bottom line, stay out of trouble. Have a laugh or two. But remember, everybody, safety first. And remember, if you have a PTSD moment this weekend, they call 988 or you can call MBR and we'll try to connect you to a person. So with that being said, thank you so much for choosing to listen to us this morning. We know you have a lot of options and who you listen to this morning. And because you chose us, we really appreciate it. We are powered by Work Simple. And everybody here at MBR remembers, and we all say, we're here for you, not for us, giving our veterans a voice. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week. Hopefully Amber will be back. Charles, thank you for sitting in for her. And
Thank
you
you
have a
for having me.
fantastic weekend as well.
All right. God bless.
God bless. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching and listening to Military Broadcast Radio on Roku TV. If you missed today's episode, the podcast will be available on
and all major platforms shortly after we go off the air. We're here for you, not for us, giving veterans a voice. This is Military Broadcast Radio.